the Jets introductory press
what he's
conference.
supposed to
this
say.
press conference was kind of embarrassing. Now, I will tell you that, again, I'm not rooting against him. I'm not rooting against him, and I respect the fact that, you know, he's a big dude, clearly getting each other in people's
Not
faces.
rooting
He ain't gonna be
against him. It
scared to
sounds
do all
like
of that.
they're really on his side with
But
this.
that doesn't amount to anything. You got a lot of cats in the NFL that come up in there and they hold dudes accountable, and they're about making sure that you go all out. You know what? You give it all you've got. That does not make for a successful. You got to actually know what the hell you're doing.
Wow.
And what's the resume that he has?
I mean, we have the
that tells
hindsight,
you
right?
that
But
he
what a
knows
terrible,
what
terrible
he's
take.
doing to warrant being the head coach
That's
of the
more
franchise.
concerning to me
Wow.
than
There is no
kneecaps.
resume.
Yeah.
There is no resume.
The Detroit Lions were looking for a change coming off 3 more losing seasons, this time under head coach Matt Patricia. In 2021, the Lions organization put together a team consisting of principal owner Sheila Ford Hamp, team president Rod Wood, the COO Mike Disner, and special assistant coach and legendary Lions linebacker Chris Spielman. They ended up going out and hiring not only general manager Brad Holmes, but the man we're going to talk about today. The organization was in desperate need of a culture change, and it took just one introductory press conference to prove that they found their man. Thank you guys so much for returning for another video. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Today, we're going to look at Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell. We're going to take a look at the impact that he's had on the Lions so far and give an outlook for 2024, all under the guise and basis of the top 10 Dan Campbell quotes since becoming Lions head coach. Should be a lot of fun. Let's go. Before we dive into MCDC, make sure to like the video. If you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports, that subscription button and the notify bell is the best way to make sure you don't miss any future videos here on the channel. I want to extend my huge thank you to all the supporters out there, everyone who has commented, gotten involved with the channel, and watched the videos lately. I so much appreciate all your time. We are on the road to 1,500 subscribers. Can you believe that? All thanks to you guys. There's now a membership option available here at Johnny Gaz Sports. If you hit the join button, I'll go through all the options you have to become a part of the channel. Again, thank you guys so much for your time. Let's dive into today's topic. Dan Campbell is originally from Glen Rose, Texas. He went to Texas A&M. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 1999 NFL Draft by the New York Giants. He spent time as a player for, of course, New York, the Dallas Cowboys, the Detroit Lions, and the New Orleans Saints. Got into coaching with the Miami Dolphins back in 2010 as a coaching intern, then moved on to a tight ends coach there for a few seasons. He actually was put into the interim head coach position for a short period of time in 2015. He then moved on to help Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints as an assistant head coach and the tight ends coach there from 2016 to 2020. And as we led into this video, in 2021, the Lions organization really took a chance on what would be a first-time head coach, Dan Campbell. Yes, he had some experience in Miami and was certainly coming from a good coaching tree in Sean Payton in New Orleans, but they were really taking a chance on a different type and style of coach. You know, they're coming off of the Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia era, coming from New England and that winning culture, that winning organization. Well, the Lions thought by supplanting those two in their organization that those winning ways would rub off. Unfortunately, we know that did not happen. So in 2021, not only did GM Brad Holmes come into the picture, but also, as we know, head coach Dan Campbell. And we let in with some of the reaction to this initial press conference he had where Dan Campbell discussed biting kneecaps and really showed the world what he was all about.
So this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off,
wow.
All right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap. And we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long,
barely
we're
body
going
left.
to be the last one standing. All right, that's going to be the mentality.
And so at number 10, I'm going to kick it off with the introductory press conference, the biting kneecap speech. And yes, you could even make the argument that this should be number 1. I mean, it's the ultimate Dan Campbell introduction to the world. And again, he kind of showed his true colors. He gave you everything that is Dan Campbell in one press conference and really set the stage for what now has been this culture build with the Lions. So we're going to go with the biting kneecap speech at number 10.
when you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know. And there again, credit Minnesota, but you know, we made the one mistake that cost us, you know, and so ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win. But I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
At number 9, we have the "You Do Not Want That for Them" from Dan Campbell. And this comes off of the devastating loss that they had at Minnesota. This was week 5. They went to 0-5 in 2021 at this point. And, you know, you could see the work ethic and that the team was hanging in games, but they just didn't have the true talent to finish. And after 5 weeks and suffering tough loss after tough loss, and it was, I think, their second loss of the season there. It was on a 54-yard field goal by the Minnesota Vikings, and it just, you know, you could tell that it ate at him, and that emotion that pours out of him in that press conference was just so good to see. I mean, you could see it affected him like it affects the players, and I think that rubs off, and that's Dan Campbell's mentality. He is a player's coach, and nothing said that more than that one there. Oh, the first one. What a good moment. Here comes Goff. At number 8, we're going to pull a quote from their very first victory. We talked about the slow start there, 0-5, so on and so forth. Well, they finally get a victory at home against those same Minnesota Vikings. And we led in with the video there in the celebration on that last play. And Dan Campbell goes on to say, "I'm happy for our guys, man. Of course I'm happy. I'm happy for the coaches. I'm happy for everybody. But it's like you want this so bad for the players, man, because they're the ones that put in all the hard work, the sweat, the tears. We all do. And so do the coaches, man. That's what makes this great. When you lose, it hurts. It hurts hard. But that's also why winning is so great in this league." And again, you know, Dan Campbell felt the pain of the losses and the jubilation of the victory with the players, and you could feel it. You could feel it in defeat, and you could feel it in the victory. And yes, this was just one of many to come, but I think it's a fantastic quote. It was almost like a sign of relief that they were able to get this done and sort of take the next step to build this thing for the future.
All the stuff that's been here that has kept us from winning, if we really want to go where we want to go, we got to get all the rest of this out of our stuff, man. All this dirt, everything that's in our gene, this last bit of losing's got to get out of here. The that crushes us, that costs you a game, costs you a season, costs you the playoffs, costs you a championship game, costs you a Super Bowl.
At number 7, the last bit of losing has to get out of here. And as they built this culture of what was a losing culture now turning into a winning culture, it was Dan Campbell expressing it not only through his words and actions, but a true real-life example. Literally, you know, getting the powder off of the pants to represent getting the losing stain off of the organization. Again, it's different ways to present the same argument. The culture, the idea of grit, the idea that this team had to learn how to win and be a better team. And this is such a great representation of that in a single quote.
I had a couple of you look at me like, what the why are we going live? I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you. And if I absolutely knew we could get to where we need to get without ever putting pads on, I'd do it. I swear to you. I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. However, I do know this. The studies say you got to get volume and you got to get intensity before a season comes. You have to. If you don't, I'm not getting you prepared, not only physically for injury, but also for us as a team to get better. Defensively, what is the essence of what we do, man?
Pursuit and tackle.
What are the two things? Tackle. Pursuit and tackle. Pursuit and tackle. Man, if you don't work on tackling, if we don't work on run after catch, making a move, man, what are we doing, man?
What are we doing?
When we finally get to week 8,
so
we
good.
Come to life because we got enough reps. But I'm telling you, honestly, I'm doing this because it actually does help you with injury. If we do it the right way, and we're not going to do it every day. But I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
That's all I think about is you guys.
Incredible.
And how I set you up for the best possible advantage I can give you to have a season. I swear to you, man. I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
Wow.
Let's be better tomorrow.
Wow. At number 6, and when I watch it back again, I almost feel like I should have put it higher on the list. I think the Hard Knocks series was amazing in a sense of the timing that it captured the Lions organization, because it was really at the infancy of this culture change. And that speech right there it's a small picture of, it's a small snapshot of the bigger picture. Let's put it that way. He's trying to show these guys and tell these guys and prove to them that he's trying to do this the right way, the way that will build men and will build a football team and will build this organization back up to where they want it to be. And that sort of emotional speech, just how do you not get behind a guy like that? And that was one of many over that series in Hard Knocks, and that certainly is my number 6 here on this list.
Well, normally what I do is
This is insane.
I'll get 2 venti. I go to Starbucks. I get 2 venti of the pike with 2 shots in them. So black eye and both. That's what I come in with. That's how I start the day. So.
At number 5 is that coffee order. Who the heck drinks 2 ventis with 2 double shots in them? That is a ridiculous amount of caffeine. So we won't get into the health side of all that, but I mean, who doesn't want their coach just hopped up on caffeine 24/7? I mean, you kind of get that from the guy anyways, but I just find that hilarious, and we got to kick it off there at our last 5 with that one, with Dan Campbell's coffee order.
And they end up being, 4 minutes is where we felt like we were going to get a similar style defensive scheme. And so it just felt like, hey, it was the right time. And here's another thing that happened. These things happen during the game, but
These things, just things.
So we're in that situation, and the fans are doing the wave around the stadium, and so I'm just watching, and I hear Ben Johnson's like, "Hey, coach, you want to?" And I'm so focused on the wave, and I said, "Yeah, that's fine." And I look up, and we're throwing it to Panay, and I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing?" I said it was fine. So, but it worked out great. It was unbelievable. Listen, we knew it would be wide open. We worked the heck out of it. We've seen him run the reps. We've seen him flip his hips. He's got soft hands.
I don't believe that story one bit, but that's great.
The only thing I was worried about.
At number 4, it's got to be that description of the Penei Sewell 3rd or 4th down play, whatever it was, the 4th down play at that point at home against Minnesota. I just find that such a fantastic, colorful description of what had happened. And I don't believe that story for one bit, that Dan Campbell's distracted by the wave as Ben Johnson's making one of the more important calls of their season on 4th down to throw to their high-priced offensive lineman. I think it's hilarious. I think it shows a different side of Dan Campbell, a fun side, but also his football side. And if you continue to watch that Pat McAfee clip, they go on to just have a fantastic segment outlining what Dan Campbell just said, but ultimately telling you what a genius Dan Campbell really is. He actually is a very good offensive mind, and him combined with Ben Johnson are able to come up with this really high-efficiency scheme that the Lions now have. And again, it all just kind of stems back to that funny clip, and that is our number 4 on this list.
Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass. Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass. Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass. Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass.
I will beat your ass.
Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass. Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass.
What if I have 4 toes?
Doesn't matter if you have 1 ass
Dan?
cheek and 3 toes, I will beat your ass.
At number 3, I don't think I have to even quote it anymore. If you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes, Dan Campbell's coming to beat your ass. I mean, do you need more than that?
What are we?
The speech is so good.
What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? I think it's that right there. It's grit. And what does it mean? In a nutshell, I think it means this. We'll go a little bit longer, we'll push a little harder, and we'll think a little deeper and a little sharper.
Yes, sir.
It means we're unbreakable. Like, to me, it means we'll play anywhere. We'll play on grass. We'll play on turf. We'll go to landfill. Doesn't matter. And that's what we got to be. That's who we have to be. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to bury you.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to work, man. It's about to be fun. O&D.
At number 2, and I think you could make the strongest argument for this one being number 1, but I'll tell you why I didn't choose it here in just a minute. But this is Dan Campbell resetting the culture. And I've talked about this in ad nauseum in other videos, so I won't kill it here. But the idea of grit has taken over from the time he walked in that building in Allen Park, and it's bled throughout the organization. Grit is what the Lions are all about in this new culture. And that speech, again, through the Hard Knocks, we were able to kind of see it in action. That speech tells it exactly like it is. And it's set the tone for the Dan Campbell era in Detroit, and it's leading to great things. And I think that's a very important piece to this list, because that's Dan Campbell. That's who he is. That's who he will continue to be. And that's why I'm very excited about the Lions in 2024 and beyond. So at number 2, we'll have the "Will tread water as long as it takes to bury you," because I think that's what the Lions will continue to do in 2024.
I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but I would love to literally just have a pet lion, just a legit pet lion on a chain, a big ass chain. And he really is my pet. We just walk around the building. We go out to practice. We're in 7-on-7. We're behind the kicker when he's kicking. On command, you could train him. Like if one of your groups isn't doing well, you could just take him over to their section and just have him take a dump right there in the middle of where their section is at. It'd be outstanding. We would take great care of it. It would be fed well. It would be petted. It would be manicured. I might end up losing an arm because of it, but that would be even better.
You talked to us last time on Part of My Take. You said that you had considered getting a pet lion on the sidelines.
I did.
Have you had any further conversations about bringing a live lion?
Well, I would say that she had no problem with it, but the league apparently frowns on those type of things.
Roger Goodell.
Yeah,
John Gruden was right.
I'm not going to point out Roger on this. I'm just going to say that the league frowns on that. Let's just say that.
Okay. It'd be nice though to have a lion sitting behind
That'd be
Jack
cool.
Fox, being like, "You better punt that."
And at number 1, it's got to be the pet lion. And I don't know why that hits me so hard, but I just think that's so funny and so different compared to any other Lions coach we've ever had. It shows the lighter side of Dan Campbell, but the truth is I think in the initial interviews he probably truly thought that that's a possibility, and that's him, and that's the Lions coach, and that's the new culture. No, it's not a lion, but you get what I'm saying. It's, stemming from the beginning video that we let in on, his introductory press conference, he's remained that same guy. He's a player's coach. It's a guy you want to get behind. We hear the phrase, "I would run through a brick wall for this man," all the time. And it's just continuing to show. And he's led the Lions out of the depths. They've improved their record all 3 seasons. They were 12-5 last year, steps away from a Super Bowl. Yes, they have a long way to go. Getting there and winning it takes a lot more, and they're going to have to continue this culture build and adding talent. And we've had so many videos this offseason talking about the things that they've done to improve on last year and hopefully get to that next step. So definitely take a look at some of those videos. But in the end, I think the Lions have the right guy at the helm. In 2021, they brought that group together to make sure they found the right pieces to move this organization forward. GM Brad Holmes, all of the pieces in the organization we mentioned early on, and of course the man of the day, Motor City Dan Campbell, are taking the Lions to a place that Lions fans have never been before, and I am very excited for 2024 and beyond. Thank you guys so much for coming along. Make sure to hit the like button if you dug what we did here today on Johnny Gas Sports. Hitting the subscription button and the notify bell is the best way to make sure you don't miss future videos. We're on the road to 1,500 subscribers. I cannot believe it. Thanks to you guys. Talking Lions, discussing football, interacting with you guys is a true passion of mine. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much for the recent support. We now have a membership option available. If you hit the join button on any one of my videos, I will walk you through all the options you have to become a part of this channel. Again, thank you guys so much. I will see you very, very soon.